Hello there, you're watching Nightline and I'm Muhammed, Ahmad Hamdan. The top stories. Double joy in Birmingham. And 4 states to amend constitution to implement anti-party hopping law. We begin with our headlining story. 4 states will be amending their respective constitutions in order to implement laws against party hopping. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, who welcomed the move, said the 4 states were Sabah, Selangor, Pulau Pinang and Negeri Sembilan. In a statement on Saturday, Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi described the move by the 4 states as a step towards strengthening democracy. He also said that when the bill was enforced, it did not compel any state to follow suit, adding that the states have been given the freedom to choose and the federal government will not take the power from them. He pointed out that amendments have been made to the 8th schedule of the Federal Constitution and the inclusion of Clause 1, where the validity of the provision at the state level can only be made after obtaining the consent of the Sultan or the Yang di-Pertua Negeri. Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi also stated that an engagement session with all states would be held to explain the benefits of the anti-hopping bill. Cooperation from the states would also enable a standardized law at the state level prohibiting elected representatives from switching parties before the 15th general election. An engagement session with Senate members would also be held next month before the first and second reading in the Dewan Negara. After receiving the approval from Dewan Rakyat and Dewan Negara, the bill will then be presented to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong as enshrined in Article 66 of the Federal Constitution to be approved and gazetted. The Constitution Amendment Bill No. 3, 2022 and the provision for the prohibition of members of Parliament from party hopping was passed in the Dewan Rakyat on Thursday with more than 2/3 majority. The block vote, initiated by Speaker Tan Sri Azhar Azizan Harun, saw all 209 members of Parliament present voting in support of the bill, while 11 were absent. Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB will give rebates to consumers, especially traders who were affected by power outages in parts of the nation last Wednesday. Energy Natural Resources Minister Datuk Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan said on the day of the incident about 1 million domestic, industrial and commercial account users were affected by the disruption that occurred at noon. He said he will present detailed information about the rebate in Parliament on August 4th. The minister also praised the quick action of TNB, which succeeded in fully restoring the electricity supply in the affected areas within 2 hours and 21 minutes. The Prime Minister said the National Month and Fly the Jalur Gemilang celebrations are meant to remind keluarga Malaysia of their independence to administer the country after being freed from the clutches of colonialism. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said although no longer controlled by colonialists, keluarga Malaysia were constantly faced with challenges originating from outside the country which could undermine their long-established harmony. The Prime Minister said this when launching the National Month and Fly the Jalur Gemilang 2022 celebrations in Putrajaya on Saturday.
Walaupun tidak lagi dibelenggu penjajah, namun keluarga Malaysia sentiasa berdepan dengan cabaran yang datang dari luar yang boleh menggugat keharmonian yang terjalin selama ini.
He said COVID-19 was the biggest challenge faced by the country and the whole world in the past 2 years, but Malaysia had managed the pandemic well because of the firm actions and measures taken by the government. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the National Day and Malaysia Day celebrations this year, themed Keluarga Malaysia Teguh Bersama, were most relevant to the determination and concept of harmony of a big family living together in unity with a sense of gratefulness. He urged Keluarga Malaysia to enliven the National Day celebrations this year by decorating their premises with Jalur Gemilang to show their love for the country.
daripada ujung sini sampai ujung sana.
Air dengan najis sekali.
Ini sahabat air.
Cuba disiasat dengan sebuahnya. Janganlah siasat dalam poket ini.
Kerajaan perlu mendengar.
Aduan rakyat kembali bersiaran.
Hello?
Anda hubungi
Emailkan masalah anda ke aduanrakyat@tv3.com.my beserta nombor telefon untuk dihubungi. Aduan Rakyat, TV3 ambil berat.
Now, after 3 successful seasons, top-rated Chinese language business program 8TV Money Matters is back with Season 4, which will start airing on the channel beginning August 12th. 8TV Chief Operating Officer Kevin Fu said the program, which attracted about 500,000 viewers, has become a major contributor of revenue for the channel's business segment.
Money Matters dia memang one of our key program during prime time setiap Jumaat 9 malam. Ini merupakan one of our key genres. 8TV itself as a channel kita ada banyak genre of programs. So pasal business memang Money Matters is the leader untuk 8TV.
In conjunction with the launch of 8TV Money Matters Season 4, a business forum titled Empowering Businesses in the Current Challenging Economy was held in Petaling Jaya, Selangor on Saturday. A total of 200 participants joined the business forum, which was held for the first time. According to Kevin, the event was in line with the objectives of the TV program, which is to play a key role in its broadcast by providing relevant information and knowledge in relation to the business sector, as well as to feature interesting topics to further develop the nation. Now, there are 4 remaining laws that need to be amended before Malaysia can ratify and implement the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP. Deputy International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Lim Ban Hong said that to date, the government, through the respective ministries, has made amendments to 10 out of 14 acts related to the trade deal.
Rektifikasi CPTPP ini juga melibatkan kita kata pengubalan kepada undang-undang yang memerlukan kita nasihat bukan sahaja dari Kementerian Perdagangan Antarabangsa dan MITI. Dia juga melibatkan kementerian-kementerian lain di mana kita memerlukan satu usaha bersama. Jadi saya fikir sebelum ni kita telah maklumkan bahawa kita akan berusaha supaya rektifikasi CPTPP ini dapat dilakukan dalam tahun ini.
Datuk Lim said this after launching Season 4 of 8TV Money Matters television program and business forum in Petaling Jaya, Selangor on Saturday. Prior to this, the Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers, FMM, has urged for the ratification of the CPTPP to be made at the earliest date possible to further drive the country's post-COVID-19 economic recovery. Earlier this week, the International Trade and Industry Ministry published its cost-benefit analysis, CBA, on the Free Trade Agreement, which was signed in March 2018, through its website to share the findings with the public and stakeholders. Moving on, the Health Ministry will intensify operations to enforce the ban on smoking in public places, including food premises, until it becomes a norm. For that, the Minister, Khairi Jamaluddin, set a target of 100,000 compound notices to be issued throughout this year.
Kalau di negara lain, di Singapura sebagai contoh, dekat UK sebagai contoh, tak ada pun penguatkuasa KKM dia pergi bagi notis compound kepada orang yang merokok di restoran. Sebab dia tahu tak boleh. Di UK dia tahu tak boleh hisap rokok di pub. Di Singapura dia tahu tak boleh hisap rokok di mana-mana kawasan tertutup. Tapi di Malaysia ni sama je. Dia kena tunggu KKM datang serbu bagi notis baru dia berhenti.
Based on the Health Ministry statistics, until this June, 30,311 compound notices were issued, compared with 21,000 to 24,000 in the same period in 2018 and 2019. Any complaints related to smoking in public places can be channeled through the WhatsApp application on the indicated line. In other news, Khairi said starting Monday, all travellers entering Malaysia no longer need to fill in and complete the traveller's card on the MySujatra app. He said the relaxation, which is aimed at simplifying the entry procedure for travellers to Malaysia, was decided to the current state of the health system, which is at a good and controlled level. In a statement on Saturday, he said the Health Ministry will always increase the activity of monitoring internal symptoms among travellers at all international points of entry into Malaysia. On arrival, if the traveller is detected to have a fever through the thermal scanner or found to be unwell, they will be referred for re-examination by the health department. After a health assessment is made and if there is a case of suspected illness due to infectious diseases such as COVID-19, monkeypox, MERS-CoV or others, the traveller will be referred to a nearby health facility for further checkup and treatment. The government can save 20 billion ringgit a year by implementing the targeted subsidy scheme. National Recovery Council MPN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said at the moment only 20% of the subsidy provided by the government was taken up by the B40 group, while the rest was enjoyed by groups which did not deserve it. He pointed out that almost 50% of the government subsidies are used by people in the well-to-do category. He added that the savings from the targeted subsidy scheme can be channeled to the B40 group, who are badly affected by the rising cost of living. However, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the mechanism for implementing the scheme needs to be fine-tuned by the government to ensure subsidies reach the targeted group. He also said that the MPN is discussing the proposal, which will then be presented to the Cabinet. Coming up, US House passes bill banning assault weapons. Don't go away. United States, the US House of Representatives has passed a bill that would ban assault weapons for the first time in decades in response to a series of mass shootings that shocked the country. The legislation was approved by a 217 to 213 vote, with 2 Republicans voting for the measure and 5 Democrats opposing it. The assault weapons ban legislation specifically calls for prohibiting the sale, manufacture, transfer or import of various semi-automatic assault weapons, such as those used in recent mass shootings in Buffalo, New York, Uvalde, Texas and Hyde Park, Illinois. As such, all semi-automatic rifles that can accept detachable magazines and have a pistol grip, a forward grip, a grenade launcher, a barrel shroud, a threaded barrel or a folding, telescoping or detachable stock are subject to the ban. Besides that, the measure also enhanced background checks for gun purchasers ages 18 to 21 and establish a federal offence for individuals obtaining firearms through straw purchases or trafficking, among other provisions. The vote on an assault weapons ban is the latest firearm-related legislation the House has passed, following a string of mass shootings the country has witnessed. And over in the UK, around 5,000 train drivers across almost a quarter of Britain's rail network went on strike on Saturday as part of a campaign for higher pay after the country's inflation rate hit its highest in 40 years. The 24-hour strike, organised by Train Drivers Union, is the second significant industrial action this week on Britain's rail network, after 40,000 members of the RMT and TSSA unions, which represent other rail staff, held a major strike on Wednesday. Almost all services on 7 of the country's 34 train operators were cancelled, including regional networks for southeast and eastern England, as well as long-distance lines linking London with southwest England, northeast England and Edinburgh. Soaring inflation and patchy wage rises have exacerbated labour tensions across sectors, including postal services, health, schools, airports and the judiciary. Ukraine on Saturday has announced making advances in the Russian-held Kherson region, claiming it had killed scores of Russian soldiers and destroyed 2 ammunition dumps as it attempts to retake the key region for Russia's supply lines. In recent weeks, Kyiv has been making use of long-range missile systems supplied from the west to make advances in Kherson, the first major town to be captured by Russian forces after they launched the invasion at the end of February. It was understood that more than 100 Russian soldiers and 7 tanks had been destroyed in fighting on Friday in the region. Additionally, Ukrainian military Southern Command stated that they were able to cut rail traffic to Kherson over the Dnipro River, a move that would separate Russian forces stationed west of the river from eastern supplies. Britain defense officials in the meantime said that Russia had likely established 2 pontoon bridges and a ferry system to compensate for bridges damaged in Ukrainian strikes. It added that Russian-installed authorities in occupied territories of southern Ukraine were possibly preparing to hold referendums on joining Russia later this year and were likely coercing the population into disclosing personal details in order to compose voting registers. Actions from the Japanese J-League sports coming up next. The national weightlifting squad continued to bring more cheer to the Malaysian camp at the 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games after contributing the nation's second gold medal on Saturday. Muhammad made sure the Jalur Gemilang kept flying proudly at the National Exhibition Centre after lifting a combined total of 285 kilograms in the men's 61 kg category, in turn setting a new games record. The Kedah-born weightlifter's snatch lift was 127 kg with a clean and jerk of 158 kg. Muhammad Aznil's success was proof of his weightlifting prowess as the 28-year-old managed to defend the gold he won in the 2018 edition in the Gold Coast, Australia. Papua New Guinea's Maria Baru won the silver, while India's Guru Raja Pujari had to settle for the bronze. Earlier, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob congratulated Muhammad Anik Hasdan on his success in winning the first gold medal for Malaysia at the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games on Saturday. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also hopes that the Malaysian contingent will continue to contribute more medals for the country. Anik notched a new games record of 249 kg en route to winning the men's under 55 kg class event with lifts of 107 kg in the snatch and 142 kg in the clean and jerk. Favourite Sanket Mahadev Sargar of India settled for second, and Sri Lanka's Dilanka Isuru Kumara Yodage completed the podium. Anik said winning the Commonwealth gold made all his hard work and sacrifice, which included cracking the floor of his father's house, worthwhile. On to Japanese League, Yokohama F. Marinos consolidated their leading position in the J-League after defeating Kashima Antlers 2-0 on Saturday. Kevin Muscat's side dominated the home field at Nissan Stadium with 62% of ball possession and fired 20 shots, comparing to 3 from the visitors. Alba opened the scoring for Marinos in the 37th minute, assisted by Anderson Lopez, before Tomoki Iwata doubled the tally in the 51st minute. The result means Marinos remain on the top of the table with 48 points after 23 plays. And the second place Antlers are still 40 points after 23 fixtures, just 1 point ahead of third place Kashiwa Reysol. In another match, Urawa Reds downed a COVID-depleted Kawasaki Frontale 3-1 on Saturday in Saitama. Japanese media reported Kawasaki had at least 4 positive cases in the squad prior to the match, leaving the defending J-League champions to play with only 5 substitutes, including 3 goalkeepers. Atsuki Ito headed in the opener for Urawa in the 4th minute. Yusuke Matsuo doubled the tally in the 17th minute. Akihiro Ledaga reduced the deficit from the spot in the 82nd minute, before Ken Iwao scored Urawa's third goal 3 minutes later. Urawa improved to 32 points on the season, while Kawasaki remain on 37. On to tennis, American 6-seed Jensen Brooksby rallied past second-seeded countryman John Isner in Friday's last quarter-final to advance to a semi-final showdown with France's Tiafoe at the Atlanta Open. After dropping the opening set, Brooksby powered past Atlanta Open 6-time winner Isner 3-6, 6-4, 6-1, while 4th-seeded American Tiafoe eased past 8th-seeded Brandon Nakashima of the US 6-4, 6-2. Earlier in the day, 3rd-seeded Australian Alex de Minaur posted 6 aces while rallying for a 4-6, 6-3, 6-0 victory over France's Adrien Manarino. The 23-year-old de Minaur, who won the event in 2019, will face Ilya Ivashka of Belarus in the semis. Ivashka, 28, upset 5th-seeded Tommy Paul 6-2, 3-6, 6-1. Barcelona have completed the signing of French international defender Jules Koundé from Sevilla on a 5-year contract, while the 23-year-old centre-back will have a buyout clause of €1 billion. Financial details of the deal were not disclosed. According to media reports, the transfer fee agreed is €55 million. Koundé, also wanted by Chelsea, is Barcelona's fifth summer signing. Koundé will be officially unveiled as a Barcelona player on Monday. After this short break, man dies in landslide at construction site in Kedah. Stay tuned. Excavator driver was killed during a landslide at a construction site in Jalan Padang Tembak, Pokot Sena at about 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. Rescuers recovered the remains of Muhammad Nasir Awang from beneath piles of rocks following a 3-hour search and rescue operation. State Fire and Rescue Department Operations Assistant Director Muhammadul Ehsan Muhammad Zain said Muhammad Nasir's body was found at 12:38 p.m. A witness saw the victim jumping off the excavator when the landslide struck. Unfortunately, the victim could not get to a safe location in time and was believed to have been buried at a depth of 3 meters under the rubble. Based on initial investigations, the landslide was believed to have happened when piling work was carried out at the site. The body was brought to Sultanah Bahia Hospital for post-mortem. Over in the US, an annual New Jersey Lottery Festival of Ballooning has kicked off on Friday from a central region of the Garden State. The event, which features awe-inspiring sight of up to 100 sports, is the largest summertime hot air balloon and music festival in North America. Let's take a look at the festival as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Muhammed Ahmad Hamdan. Thank you for your company and stay safe, Malaysia.